Oh, and do I feel good today? What is up? Welcome into DTL Golf, part of the Driving the Line universe. We're here every single Tuesday live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your boy, the coach. If you're watching us on demand, thank you as well as we continue to grow week after week. This week, it's another signature event on the PGA Tour. Elevated FedEx Cup points, 700 to the winner, up from 500. $4 million to the winner. Not bad. 72 players are teeing it up. 6 past champions, including last year's champion, Victor Hovland, teeing up for the first time since he finished third at the PGA Championship. So we got a lot to talk about, storylines and also best bets. Let's bring in two of the greatest minds in the business today. And we're going to start with this man who you see that big old fat smile on his face right now because he just went out into the Colorado air. He went to Sorry, I'm just letting it all wash over me because we have the man on the show today. You know what? How about you set it up, Fast Eddie? Hello once again, sir. How was your week?
It was good. Feeling great. Good to compete again, and yeah, somebody on this show hit a little bit of a bomb in LaSalle, Colorado, at the World Tournament this past weekend. So yeah, longest drive of the day, longest drive of the week, and yeah. So it feels good to whip the boys half my age, But it was good when it was fun. You know how much I enjoy competing, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to compete, but it was a blast last weekend. It was good.
Hey, Steve Scott, when was the last 465-yard drive that you had, sir?
I can barely hit it 465 feet. Let alone 465 yards. That's pretty sick there. I might have to hit it down a runway or something because I hit it pretty straight. But if I can get some bounce off some concrete, that'll really help.
I think they used to do that back in the day. Remax, didn't they? Eddie, wasn't it on the track in Vegas?
Yeah. So Tim, right when I first got into long drive, coach, first one I really ever watched was 2013. Tim Burke. It was at the Speedway. There were thousands of people there. It was. What a great setting. It was at night, and it was just – that's kind of what got me into the sport, watching Tim win. I got to, became friends with him the next couple of years after I started competing. But, yeah, it was pretty cool. I wish it was still like that, but we got a ways to go to get back there.
You never, if we just
– never know. We'll see.
You never know. We never know. We try to keep it positive, but you never know. Right. As I am, once again, the voice of the World Long Drive Tour, we're trying to get everybody involved. But it's a process. Now, before we look forward this week, gentlemen, because the Memorial is one of my favorite tournaments of the entire season. Tiger Woods is the last person to ever repeat at this golf tournament. But we would be remiss, Steve Scott, because you're a father. Eddie, you're a father. Mm-hmm. I'm a father. What we saw last week in Canada is nothing short of unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Robert McIntyre was homesick the last month or two. A lot of these guys coming over from the DP World Tour, staying here for 3 or 4 months. How could you not be? So he calls up his dad and says, hey, I need you here. I need you on the bag. They switched out bags to a smaller one. Until Sunday, they had to go the bigger one because of all the rain gear. And he gets the job done with dad on the bag. What did you make of what you saw Sunday at the Canadian Open?
Yeah, for me, I think that he was just awesome to watch. It was such a heartwarming story. And I know Father's Day's coming up here. It's always Sunday of the U.S. Open, but it was Father's Day for Robert McIntyre the other day. The lefty, he rolled the ball so well on the greens. He just kept filling it up. He got into some spots of bother out there, but he was able to rectify it with the help of his father, kind of guiding him along there. There was even a point early in that round Sunday where the CBS drone was really bothering him. And because it, gets pretty close overhead, it's buzzing around like a mosquito in your ear when you're trying to sleep. And it's, just one of those things that really throws you off as a player, or can. But he got it done. He got it to the house, made some clutch putts, and withstood the charge of a few of those guys, Victor Perez and Ben Griffin. Just an awesome Canadian Open. And we really, really loved watching that. Definite tearjerker there for the superintendent father there in Dougie McIntyre.
I love when guys like him, they're so old school. He was like, man, I didn't know if I could get off work. I don't know how much he's making as the greenskeeper at the golf course where they're at, but McIntyre just made $1.7 million. So I think he's going to be okay there. But I also loved, Eddie, what Jim Nantz said on the broadcast. He's like, if he's going to play big-time golf at this level, he better get used to the drones and the cameras and everything that goes along being in this cauldron that is a Sunday afternoon trying to win on the PGA Tour. When you watched that, what was your take?
Yeah, agreed. And he's got one more win than Colin Montgomery, right? And he's Scottish.
Yes, he does.
So good for him. It reminded me, Coach, of when I talked to you after you're caddying for JJ, and like the grin on your face and the excitement as a parent, and all you want to do is have your kids do better than you, have more opportunities than you. And it was just like I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it, and just having that opportunity to be there and watch your son or daughter compete and do well. And I had that feeling my kids playing lacrosse, watching them win district championships or just compete at a high level in high school. And it makes you just feel really good. And there's something about it, but to compete at that highest level you're going to have to get used to it. It's almost like playing with Tiger every round. Right.
No doubt about it. And by the way, he pulled out of the Memorial to go home and party with all of his friends and his girlfriend and his dad. And maybe that's the biggest boss move I've ever seen for going when you're red hot. Chance for I don't know if I agree with that, but it's up to him. It's absolutely up to him. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about the Memorial. This is a big one. It is always, even before it was a signature event, this was always a big one because it's Jack's place. And people love to walk off that 18th green and get that handshake from the Golden Bear. There is nothing else like it. But now it's elevated. Now it's a signature event. Now it's one of three that actually has a cut, and it's the Invitationals. We talked about the Genesis. We talked about, I'm trying to remember the other one. Oh, API, and now the Memorial. So let's start with our first category of the week. And first-round leaders has become our jam, so to speak. So, Fast Eddie, I'm going to start with you because there's a guy that we talk about a lot on the show, but I don't feel like he gets a lot of love out in the golf universe. Let's start with him.
Talk about, if not the hottest player in the world, one of the top four. Ben On, plus 4,000. He's in second in birdies made this year per round. He's made 5 top fives in his last 6 starts. 6th in strokes gained putting, 7th in strokes gained total the last 30 days. He's just been on a tear. Look for him to come out of the gate in fuego. I look for Ben to have a big, and I still can't believe where the line is for him this week. So I absolutely love this pick in a few different areas, which I'll get to later.
And also the fact that there's only 72 players. It's not a full field at 156, and you're still getting plus 4,000. I'll take it. Now, another guy who is starting to trend, starting to play better, is your guy, Steve Scott. Talk to me.
Collin Morikawa. I mean, plus 2,200 is not exactly the market I love to go to in this first round leader. I'd like to definitely be up more times than not with what Eddie said and plus 4,000 there for Ben On. But really what Collin Morikawa brings to the table, he is number 2 in first round scoring average. The only guy ahead of him would be the mighty one, Scotty Scheffler. Collin averages 68.08 in the 12 rounds that he has played in the first rounds this season. Scotty Scheffler, 67.83. So it's just so strong up there towards the top. The first round provides a lot of opportunity for the players to go out there and freewheel it a little bit. There is a cut here, but the cut, if they start with about 70 players, they go to 50 in ties. So there's not that many people that are really cut here. So you can take a couple more risks in the opening round. And I think that's to the benefit of Collin Morikawa. And he's got a victory here as well. I mean, this is a place that he has played well at, although the last couple seasons he has not fared so well here with a missed cut and a withdrawal. But he has a win here. He does play this place very well, and he loves to get out of the box well. So let's go with Collin Morikawa, first round leader this week.
I think we forget that he won here, but it wasn't the Memorial. It was back during COVID when Workday stepped up and said, let's put two events back-to-back weeks. And he won one of those weeks.
Same venue, but it's he likes playing here, though. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly right. By the way, pulling a DG, Our resident numbers guy, Rafael Esparza, he's in the chat. If you have any questions for him, put them into the chat. He will answer them for you in real time. Thank you, Rafael, for showing up today. We appreciate it. Now, many of you complained right along with us. And trust me, behind the scenes, I am working tirelessly to try to get some of these sports books to bring me in, help them out, because some of their offerings are pathetic, to be honest. And when we're talking our bread and butter head-to-heads, and we've got half the books that don't even do them, what are we doing? But we found a couple that we liked. So, Steve Scott, let me start with you on this one, because you found more than a couple. You found 3. You're up.
I did find 3, and there was a few on BetMGM and DraftKings. It's funny, everybody's a little slow this week and kind of popping these out of there, but I found a few, and I really like Patrick Cantlay over Justin Thomas to start with. This is a horses for courses sort of venue in my mind, so keep that in mind when you're selecting your players this week in your picks, because Patrick Cantlay, he out of 5 out of 8 times he's played this venue, he's had 5 out of 8 top 10s. And he's got 2 wins here. And if you think about what Patrick Cantlay does at certain venues like this, Harbor Town comes to mind. And recently I picked him to be in the top 10 there, and he delivered because he plays well there. He always finishes in the top 5 at Harbor Town. This is the same type of golf course for Patrick Cantlay right here at Muirfield Village. And then the other 2 picks really are 2 of them, and this is kind of a common theme. Keep in mind that some of these players out on tour, they switch coaches. They like to try to, hey, maybe I'm going to get a little better and try this coach or try that coach. But the 2 guys I've got left, Viktor Hovland and Tom Kim, are 2 players that have switched coaches recently and then moved back to a coach that has provided them some success. Viktor Hovland moved back to Joe Mayo, who's kind of like the TrackMan maestro guy. Has really dialed in a lot of great things in Victor's chipping, particularly over the last couple of years. And he's trended very well. I mean, he played top 5 in the PGA Championship there, and plus 125 over Colin Morikawa. I like where Viktor Hovland's game is. Oh, and by the way, he's the defending champ. So let's start there as well. Tom Kim minus 105 over Corey Connors. Tom Kim has moved back to a coach named Sam Sear that he has worked with. He worked with Cameron McCormick, did a little stint with Chris Como as well. And but this Sam Sear from San Diego, California, is a really sharp cat and has really gelled well with Tom Kim. And Tom's seen him since he was 15 years old. So Sam really knows all of his tendencies and has helped kind of bring him up through the ranks. And so that's why I've got these guys locked in this week on my picks, guys who are really trending well. I even connected with Paul Tesori, which is Tom Kim's coach, or excuse me, his caddy, and he really likes where he's going right now. Top 5 finish last week, by the way, his best finish of the year back in Canada last week for Tom Kim too. So good trending play here for both of these players.
Yeah, he got to play twice with Rory McIlroy last week. If you watched him on PGA Tour Live, you saw just how good Tom Kim is playing right now. I mean, I'm really, really impressed with
step for
him.
step with McIlroy. 65-64 on the weekend. I mean, that's you can't negate that at all.
No, that's big time. You're right on it, Steve. Appreciate that. Viktor Hovland, I would love to know how those conversations go, by the way, when you drop your coach that got you major championships and then you go back with your tail between your legs and go, oh, maybe you were good for me. Interesting. All right. Eddie, let me come over to you because you found one, and it's one of the ones that Steve likes as well. Why do you like Tom Kim this week?
I mean, that's why Steve Scott gets the big bucks, right? I mean, all I had to do is say ditto. I mean, I agree with everything he said, went back to his coach. He's going to be a catalyst on the President's Cup team for a long, long time. And he has that swagger. I think, is he 20 yet? Is he 20?
Yeah, he's over. I think he's 21 now.
Okay, he's 21. Well, he's 21 going on 35, from a PGA Tour perspective. He's that talented. He's that good between the ears. Sometimes he throws some tantrums, but we all do it sometimes, right? But he's so talented. I could just spew out everything that Steve said, but if everyone was listening, I'm basically going to say the same thing. So I'm gonna stop it there. But fourth last week, and made his last 7 cuts. He's trending in a really good direction. That's why I chose him this week.
No doubt about it. He absolutely is. By the way, quick question from the chat. Neither one of you can take it. Top Nordic, because different books have different plays that you can make. I like the nationality plays because usually you only got to beat 3 or 4 other dudes. Hovland plus 125 over Oberg, who hasn't played a lot lately, and Alex Noren, who did not play well last week. Anybody want to take that one? Do you like it or not like it?
Yeah, I mean, Hovland's won here, right?
He won here last week. He's a defending champion. Yeah.
So yeah. I like that bet. I mean, he's, went back to his coach, Joe Mayo, and I like that. I mean, Oberg really hasn't played that much. I don't know how much experience he has around here, and Alex Noren didn't play that great in his last event or two. So I know that because I picked him last week. And
like 8 holes and plus 3.
So I don't have a problem with that bet.
Okay.
Yeah, Hovland is playing less golf swing and more golf right now, and I like Hovland in that trio.
Yeah, if you watch him at the PGA, he definitely was a different player than what we saw between winning the FedEx Cup, changing his swing, the spring, and then getting back to it. So it's been a long 8 months for him, but I think he is where he wants to be. Yes, Eddie, go.
And I think what Steve just said is so important. He's playing golf, not golf swing. And when you're thinking about golf swing on the golf course, you're not focusing on what you need to do to score. And now, like Steve said, just put it perfectly, playing golf and not worrying about where his blinds are or where his, swing plane or anything like that is. So,
at this course, you've got to do that. This is a really difficult track, especially if they set it up hard.
Yeah.
All right. Combination category number 3, and this is where we really stepped up last week. I believe we hit 5 of 8. RD hit both of his plus 350 and a plus 625, I believe he hit last week. So there's a lot of profit if you followed these guys on the finishing positions. But dial it back just a little bit. You don't want to have a full unit on all of these different plays. It's way too difficult. So, Eddie, let's start with you on this one. You love all 3 markets, top 5, top 10, top 20. Go.
Yeah, Denny McCarthy. We know how well he rolls the rock. Plus 180 for a top 20. Limited field, 5th, 2nd, last 2 years here. A couple of top 6s in his last 6 events. Very steady. And you won't find, he's such a great guy. You and I both know him fairly well, Coach, from our experiences in the past. But he's so even keeled. I think he's going to play well this week. I love that pick, especially top 20. Billy Horschel, same thing. He has completely turned his year around. Plus 165, top 20. He won this event in 2022, 7th and 13th, 3 out of the last 5 years as well. Comes in good form. Won a few weeks ago, I think 4 or 5 weeks ago. Made his last 4 individual tournament cuts. Win 8th, 24th. Limited field, so I love this play. And then Mr. On. I honestly, Coach, I cannot believe where his numbers are this week. He's been on an absolute tear. Plus 900 top 5, plus 400 top 10, and he's plus 150 for top 20. Are you kidding me? This guy has made 5 out of 6, last 6 events, 5 top 5s. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I think Raphael put something in the chat to where it seems like way too good to pass up, like plus 150 for top 20 in a limited field event. And this guy's made 5 top 5s the last 6 events. Just nuts.
There's always going to be, Eddie, a couple of players that the sports books overlook, which is why golf is so important to a sports book, because there's so many different players to bet on, but sometimes they miss in our favor. And this feels like it's a miss in our favor. And you found it 100%. All he's got to do is beat 52 guys. Not 152, 52 to have a top 20. That's it. That's it. Yeah. All right, Steve Scott, let me come over to you, big boy, because, by the way, Denny McCarthy should have won here. He should have won the Memorial already. And Billy Horschel, remember he hit rock bottom here, like shooting an 81, I believe, and look how far he's come back. So I love all these storylines. I just love the moments. All right, Steve Scott, let me come to you because all of yours are in the top 20 and top 10 markets. Talk to me.
I've got a top 30 actually this week too.
Oh, maybe my eyes were horrible.
It's okay. It's okay. We're going to give you a pass on that. Yeah, Cam Davis at plus 190. And I was watching him yesterday. He was doing a little playoff for the U.S. Open sectional qualifier in Springfield, Ohio. He was playing a fellow Aussie, Adam Scott, and he downed Adam Scott in that playoff, which always gives a player a little bit of a bolster. So if you're comfortable playing him a little bit higher this week, go for it. The only reason I'm not personally is just because the legs get pretty tired when you play 36 holes plus multiple holes of a playoff. I don't care how young you are. You're going to take a little bit of time to recover. So my guess is he's not playing a lot of golf today. He's going to be just kind of resting his legs and maybe hitting a couple balls at the most. But Cam Davis, that gives you a little boost of momentum when you do something like that. So jump on him this week, plus 190 there. Billy Horschel, 6 top 20s here, including a win in his last 11 times here. Forget the rock bottom time. He's past that. That was kind of an anomaly, I think. Recent winner at the Punta Cana, it's Corrales Punta Cana Championship as well. So he's playing well. Billy Horschel, one thing to know about him is he plays very well in segments, in spurts, right? He can get going and he starts getting a feeling and he jumps on it. In the last 3 months, he's had 5 top 12s as well and positive strokes gained putting in 8 of them. So I really like what Billy Horschel is doing with his game on this golf course. And then finally, Patrick Cantlay with a top 10 at plus 225, 5 top 8s here in his last 5 out of 8 top 10s, including 2 wins here. Again, like Harbortown, he really loves this golf course. And in 8 starts here, here's a stat for you guys. In 8 starts here, he's been almost 25 strokes ahead of the field in strokes gained total. So this is a golf course that he just absolutely crushes. So Patrick can play this golf course.
So much great information right there. By the way, wasn't Cantlay the recipient of the John Rahm COVID situation when he was up by 6? Wasn't that Patrick Cantlay that ended up winning? Remember, Rahm comes off after the 3rd round and they told me he had COVID.
Was that 2022?
I think I had COVID that week.
When Cantlay won. I think it was 21 when Cantlay won.
That was 3 years ago. God, it feels like it was yesterday.
It does. It does feel like it was yesterday. Amazing. And I had something else I was going to say, and I completely lost my train of thought. So
John Rahm's not going to finish this year either here at Memorial.
No, he's not. He will not finish this year.
He's out.
Don't get me started.
Not even going to start.
John Rahm. Oh my gosh, he's already complaining, already bitching and moaning.
Sorry,
what did you think was going to happen, John Rahm? People don't care how much money you make; they care about watching you play.
Right.
On an actual TV network that shows the tour that you're playing on. Sorry, C-Dub. All right. Now, this is my favorite category. And somebody in the chat already said, it is so hard. It is damn near impossible to pick a winner unless his name is Scotty Scheffler. And then the numbers are so low that you can't pick him. Here is Scotty Scheffler's last 7, guys. First, T2. First, T8, T2. That's crazy. I don't care who you're talking about, even Tiger Woods. So you can't play him. So what do we do? Where do we go? Well, Eddie, you have 3 choices in 3 different sections as far as numbers are concerned. You're up.
Yeah, look, Ben is an absolute shoo-in. If I'm gonna bet, if I'm gonna put $20 on Ben to win $1,000, I'm like, are you kidding me? He's playing so well. I think that's just a great pick in my opinion. I think they got that way wrong. I think the line's going to go down. Colin Morikawa obviously won here when it was the workday in 2020, finished 2nd in 21. So he is super comfortable around this place. His last 5 individual events, he has 3 top 5s and 1 top 10, made all 5 cuts. Worst finish is 16th at the Wells Fargo. So he is firing on all cylinders, getting ready for the U.S. Open next week. But I think he's not going to overlook this week. I think he loves this place. He's going to have a big week. Also, plus 300 for a top 5 and plus 130 for a top 10. I like those bets as well. As Steve said, Patrick Cantlay, not to beat a dead horse, everything that Steve said basically, plus 2,500. He always seems to be in the mix at this golf course. He won in 21, 3rd in 22. The guys, it seems like everybody that wins at this place or plays really well, they play well here a lot. So I love Cantlay for that reason. 12 of 12 made cuts this year in 24. And I think he wants to add a little W to rival his buddy, Mr. Schauffele. So,
yeah. And he's not happy either. He's not having the year that he would like to have. He gave away one of the signature events because he caught a cold or he had a fever on Sunday after dominating for 54 holes. So this is a chance for him to get that back. So 3 great choices right there. Steve Scott, you love that Tom Kim is trending and a plus 4,500. To me, that's worth a little sprinkle. Talk to me.
The Tom Kim choo-choo train is going right through Columbus, Ohio this week. Plus 4,500. I just feel something really good. It's just in my bones right now this week. Tom Kim is just he is just right there, and he's putting all the pieces together. He's getting all the I's dotted and the T's crossed in his game right now, and things are just going right for him. And this is a good golf course, I think, for him, and he's going to be able to kind of navigate himself around. He's got, like I said, Paul Tesori, this guy who's his caddy, is just a fantastic caddy. He has guided the likes of Webb Simpson, Vijay Singh in the past. He has guided, he caddied for Cameron Young. Paul Tesori, he's probably one of the caddies out there that is most likely to want to hit a golf shot in competition as a caddy because he is so into every single shot with his player. And, there's just a good vibe right now around Tom Kim. I really feel some good things happening. He's made last 8 or 9 cuts in a row, played very, very solidly and trending upward. So Tom Kim, choo-choo train all the way to the winner's circle this week.
And I feel like he's starting to get kind of a killer's instinct. I think he doesn't like being that, I'm the guy that everybody loves. I'm the guy that, let's squeeze the cheeks. I think he's like, let's start being a top flight player that will step on your throat and stay there until he gets the job done. He has 3 wins, but it hasn't been for a minute. Real quick before we get to the last category, because both of you guys brought it up, I encourage people, and Steve, let me start with you first, because there's a ton of players. Like Ben Griffin was right there to the very end on Sunday, and he said he got about 2.5 hours of sleep. He had to drive to Niagara Falls, stayed in the hotel, sort of, and then had to play 36 holes on Monday. Other guy, all over the place. How much should people at home really do work on their own to figure out who is here? I don't know how many it is. I didn't look it up myself because that's an extra 36 holes on Monday that they had to play before they even get to Columbus. Your thoughts on that?
I think that's a huge thing. That's a really great point, Coach. I think that I've been through the sectional qualifying several times, and you are just absolutely whooped. And I think it's kind of why I put Cam Davis in that top 30 market, because he's playing well, but I just think he could be a little sluggish, but he's obviously playing well. So you definitely have to factor that in. A guy like Tom Kim is not in that situation. He didn't have to do that. There's some other guys who definitely had to. And so you got to watch for that this week. And, but a lot of them in this field didn't, but there's definitely some. And so definitely do your research. Go on usopen.com or usga.com and figure that out, kind of who was in what, and definitely, shy away or pull back a little bit from your wagers this week on those guys.
Yeah, definitely. Eddie, down in South Florida, there was an event where I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was all players that have won or played on the PGA Tour before. Daniel Berger was at the top. Matt Kuchar,
Bears Club,
Bears Club, and Matt Kuchar is going to be in our next category. So, from Steve's, but from your perspective, is there a positive to these guys who had to add essentially 2 extra days to their legs after playing in Canada?
Yeah, basically an extra 18 holes and a lot of stress, especially if you're in the mix. Like if you go out and you shoot 75, you might as well just kind of pack it in and get out of the
other 18.
Yeah, but there's something to be said. I qualified for U.S. Amateur in 1991 at the honors course, 36 holes in one day, and it is a grind. I don't care how great a shape you're in, mentally, emotionally, physically, it just wears on you. So, and like Steve said, he's been through the U.S. Open sectional a bunch of times, and it's. You have to manage your emotions. You have to manage your mental state, your physical state, and you just have to stay as even keel as you can. You can't get too up and down, or else you just run out of gas halfway through the second 18. But I like Steve's thinking of, Cam Davis is playing well, might be a little worn out by the time the weekend comes, but I like that top 30 pick with Cam Davis. But like you said, he is playing well. So, but I agree with him in that aspect.
That's another great point. As we go round by round on Driving the Line every single day, look at some guys who might be fading by Saturday or Sunday. Another great thing to look at, individual round betting. All right, let's get to our final category, because Matt Kuchar did play in one of those qualifiers down in Florida. He will be in the event. He's played in this event several times. And, Eddie, you have Matt Kuchar, just somebody to look at in two different categories. What are they?
Yeah, Kuchar, he's coming to the end of his PGA Tour career. He had such a wonderful playing career. I mean, he was an ATM machine for 15 years, right? Plus 115 for top 40, plus 550 for a top 20. He was 17th at the Charles Schwab recently, 34th at Wells Fargo. He won this event in 2013. He's putting really well and is second in strokes gained putting out of this field the last month. So I like the bet with the limited field. Kuchar can still golf his ball. If he gets a little hot, you never know. Might have a top 10 or 20, but there's only 74 players, and there's a cut 50 in ties. So and anyone within 10 of the lead. So I like Kuch. I wouldn't necessarily bet on him to win. I mean, you can throw a little bit on him, but I'd rather see the top 20 or top 40 picks there. Thomas Dietrich, I picked him earlier in the year. This kid, I am really high on this kid. He is a heck of a player. Plus 11,000 to win. He's getting closer. Last 5 individual events, couple top 5s. He is 12th in strokes gained putting, and he's going to win sooner or later on tour. He's just that talented of a player with just a rock solid golf swing. I would throw a little love on TD this week. So those are my 2 long shots.
To give it some perspective on your Matt Kuchar top 20 plus 550, Scotty Scheffler to win right now at BetMGM is plus 350.
Plus 350. Crazy. You know what? What's his top 40 is like minus. Raphael probably that's like minus 6,000 or 7,000 or 5,000 or something.
It's an absolute joke.
It's ridiculous.
And while and I'm going to look that up while Steve is giving us his 2 plays, because I love both of these plays. And if these 2 guys, Steve, can get on a roll at this golf course, we know they can do damage. Talk to me.
And a few guys who can dial in with the putter very well, and Denny McCarthy and Justin Rose. Danny McCarthy played very well here the last 2 years, very well. Not only one person played better than he last year, and that was Victor Hovland. He was second last year and tied for 5th in 2022. Denny McCarthy really likes this golf course. Again, horses for courses. Kind of find that theme this week in your picks. Denny McCarthy, I know he has not won here yet this year or ever on the PGA Tour. He was really close at the Valero Texas Open and lost in that playoff to Akshay Bhatia after shooting 28 on the back 9. That was pretty nice. But Denny McCarthy, he's right there, and it would not surprise me if he got it done. Now, Justin Rose at plus 10,000, he's kind of that grizzled old veteran. He's almost in that Matt Kuchar type category. It was been around a while, but I think to play this golf course well, I think it's a good golf course to have some good knowledge on, and Justin Rose has that. He's got 1 win here, 4 other top 6s as well. And he tied for 6 at the PGA Championship. Kind of felt like it was a little out of the blue. But he has got some, he's still got some fire, and he's still got some game left in that body. So, Justin Rose, and he likes to trend. We know how he played. He won the U.S. Open back in 2013 at Marion, and the U.S. Open is just next week. So, keep in mind some of these guys, they're just trying to raise their game a little bit this week and make sure it is ready and on point next week come Pinehurst. Pinehurst number 2 next week.
One of my favorite courses. And here's the thing is that if it's not Scotty Scheffler this year, there's been a ton of long shots that have come in and won this year. A ton. So throwing up plus 7,000, not crazy. Plus 11, not crazy. By the way, shout out to Hef. I always have loved that name, Hef. Scotty Scheffler, top 40, minus 4,000. if you want to play him top 40.
Perfect.
You'd have to just beat 32 other guys. Top 30 is minus 1,600. Can't play that. Top 20, ridiculous, minus 650. If you want to bet him top 10, still can't play it. Minus 250 for a top 10. A top 5, you still don't get plus money. Minus 110. I've never seen this before. Because back when Tiger was in his prime, I was so young. But oh my goodness, these numbers are banana land. But the sports books do not want to lose money on this guy. That's what it boils down to. That's what it is. That's what they want you to bet on everybody else. Everybody else. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, it is time for our final thoughts as we head into not just a signature event, but we're getting ready for the next big major, which is our United States Open. And I know it doesn't mean a ton to everybody, but it means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to us. It is the hardest tournament on, in my opinion, the entire PGA Tour schedule. So final thoughts as we head into the next couple of weeks. Fast Eddie, let's start with you.
Yeah, U.S. Open. I can't wait. This is going to be a fun week. I enjoy watching this week. I've never played there, but I love this tournament, especially at on 18 on Sunday when you get whoever wins the tournament goes up and shakes Jack's hand. I think that's as far as a lot of people are concerned, he's the GOAT. I mean, him and Tiger, half 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. But it's such a cool venue. The place is just absolutely pure. And it's a tough golf course. And for the U.S. Open, I might be picking another long hitter next week. So just going to kind of throw that out there. So we'll see. We'll see. I think this guy's
first time I ever played Pinehurst number 2. I 5-putted the first green. They're all like teacups. Imagine a teacup. So you go up one side. If you have no skill like myself, it'll go right down the other side. Oh, It was brutal. Steve Scott, your final thoughts.
Now, I've looked everywhere for this opportunity to bet this guy, and I think that and we're missing him this week in Mr. RD, Robert Damron. He is up in Madison, Wisconsin this week playing the PGA Tour Champions event that Steve Stricker hosts up there. And I'd love to throw a couple dollars on Mr. RD for something this week. And if anybody finds anything out there where we can throw a little cheese on the place where they get a lot of cheese up there in Wisconsin, please let me know. Because I want to throw some money on RD. But best of luck, RD. Fingers and toes crossed for you, my friend. And go up there and kick some butt.
The DTL Golf Universe, we're behind you. What do you got, Eddie?
He picked Robert McIntyre. He picked the long shot this past week. He won.
He picked it on the show?
He picked
oh
Robert.
My God, how did I bury that lead?
Yeah, he's
producer, man.
He's the new long shot king. No, it was great. It was awesome.
Well, I know he had him in the top 10 mark. It was top 20 mark was plus 650 as well. So he was all over. They started calling him Bobby McIntyre. I've always called him Robert. I've never called him Bobby. Bobby, what is that? Make sure we got everything.
I'm probably hammered right now. I think you can probably he's gone home. He could have played the Memorial this week, actually, Bobby McIntyre, and he decided to go home and have a big party. So hopefully he's somewhere passed out by now.
I'm sure
I hope so. If he's foregoing when you're playing great golf and you don't go to the next event, when it's $4 million, 700 FedEx Cup points.
Yeah.
What? But maybe he just felt like he didn't have the energy. Winning takes a lot out of you. Takes a lot out of you. Also hitting 465-yard drives, that takes a lot out of you. You know what I'm talking about, Fast Eddie. All right, I want you all. That's going to do it for us this week. That's all the damage we can do. We're here every single Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Producer, man, I need my one shot because I know that everybody needs to go out there and pay it forward. They need to understand golf is so important to our universe, but also to the sports books out there. It's so much fun, but you have to know what you are doing. So understand this. There's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these memorial tickets straight to the pay window. My Tiger, my man Fast Eddie Fernandes, still hitting bombs. My man Steve Scott, nobody smarter than him. Producer, man, always behind the scenes, making the show look like $1 million. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. Let's have a week right here on DTL Golf. Good luck.